Desperate times require desperate measures. I am buying pretty much an entire load of oak. I guess I'll have to explain to you why, but I mean, here's the reason why. What the heck? I'm not getting logs. We're midsummer, my supply is super low. Yes, I've taken a couple weeks off because of the heat, but had I not, I'd been out of wood by now. And Nathan from Nathan Baird Logging called and said he had mostly a load of oak, and I was like, well, okay, let's do it. My plan, I will just split this stuff smaller. I have that 6-way knife on my Perfect Split. I haven't used it yet, but maybe we'll just start stacking this for residential. These logs are just drenching wet, and I was speaking with the driver. He said that he just went through a big downpour to get here, and that's why everything's just soaking wet, because it hasn't rained here. It's been pretty dry. But you know, these are good looking logs, but I'm seeing oak. I don't know what that one in there is, but you know, I see some maple on here too. And I asked him, and he is going to do his best to put he said there's hickory, the maple and hickory, what we call the white woods, I guess, over on this side. And he's going to put the oak on the other side. I'm just trying to keep everything separate. And I separate myself when I'm doing my own loading of the log deck. I saw like this log right here, that's an oak. So while I'm loading the live deck with maple, when I come upon that oak, I'll stick it over on this side. All right, but this truck is very similar to Log Hauler Jesse's. It has a lot of the axles on it. And what I am understanding, and I'm not the expert here, if you're in Ohio, this is not required, but you know, just some trucks, when you buy them, they got this many axles. They have that many axles on them. All right, so the driver is gonna RPM up, and that helps the pump when the crane's operating. So let's move out of the way. I'll come around to the back side and we'll watch how all of this goes down. And the outriggers go down. That is a big load of logs, though, I will say that. So this has a telescoping boom on it too, that can go in and out. Well, that's not a good looking log. Oh boy, that'll be going down to the, that one will be going down here to the lower end to put through the log splitter, huh? But these logs look mostly to be fresh cut. And what I have learned through all of this, I mean, it just sounds obvious, but I don't think a lot of us even consider this. What I had learned through all this, guys, is, you know, it's nice to get wood that's kind of dried because it's laid around for a while. But, you know, those are the ones that get really filled up with the ants. And it seems that when you only have green trees like this that were healthy when they were cut down, you know, there's no bugs. Maybe with the exception of hickory. More on that later. But you can tell the difference between, you know, these logs have been here for a while versus fresh cut. You know, the ones with the dark in the middle are oaks, and these are all oaks. So he's sorting for me. He's putting the maple on this side, and then he's putting the hickory on this side. I told him not to be, you know, overly precise about it or whatever. Just every now and then one of these logs is just something I can move myself. But these are looking like nice logs, guys. My thought on these oak logs, I mean, what can I do? You know, I gotta have wood. The oak just takes too long to season out. Okay, I'll sell it, but I would prefer to sell it this winter. And anything that's oak that I'm gonna be making, especially this stuff, which is green, man, it's gonna be too long for me. I get tired of looking at it. I remember where I have, this was a while back, where I make wood and I had it stacked over at my house. I had small split oak. It was small split. It was 18 months old and I split one open and it was still reading 40%. That is my problem with oak. Yes, it smells terrible too. Yeah, it's great firewood when it's dry, but you know, I'm in business to make money. I sell firewood for a living. And I would prefer to be able to sell my firewood. I sell seasoned firewood because it costs more. I make more money. It is in my interest to stack this wood and let it sit. I have learned, you know, once you get that inventory built up, you're making wood still, but it's for next winter. So you're just, you know, feeding your seasoned firewood while it dries out. Well, the name of the game is to have seasoned firewood. What I have learned is having wood that dries, that is a quality hardwood that dries relatively fast, is crucial, you know, to keeping the cash flow going. I had gravitated towards silver maple, soft maple. It is a great firewood. It's a hardwood. It smells nice. It's appropriate for restaurants. Homeowners like it. It looks good. It's clean. It splits easy, and man, does it dry fast for a hardwood. What I'd learned here too in this wood yard, it's hot here, and it's hot in Ohio, but it's hot in this wood yard. This is hard packed gravel. There's no trees, and when that sun's out, it really bakes in here and radiates, and this wood dries out. It dries out faster here than it does over at the house, I'll tell you that. So, for me to operate, it just helps that I stack my oak and separate it from all the other woods. If you're selling mixed hardwoods, and I tell my customers this too, you know, especially if they're going to wind up buying off of someone else, I'll tell them, ask the guy, what are the species? And if he says, oh, there's maple, cherry, and oak in it, all right, that's a clue. Because if it was all made at the same time, chances are your maple, your cherry is going to burn, and your oak is going to put your fire out. It's just the way it is. These are the things that I had learned over time. The only complaining I had ever heard from customers always involved oak. And that's why it took me a while to figure out what I was doing. And I figured out about the time it takes for the wood to dry out. And with the exception of a couple other species, maybe hickory, I've never dealt with Osage orange, but I'm imagining it's the same way, and oak. It just takes forever to dry out. these are nice looking logs. There's a lot of maple in here. I'll take it. Take the good with the bad, huh? So here's my plan with the oak. I got 2 restaurants that want oak. And I at first thought, I don't want to mess with it. But they had said they like it split big. They're not as finicky about the seasoning of it because the style smoker they had. And I says, well, I'm your guy, you know? So I do make oak, which I stack over in this area called Oakland. It's just bigger split, and it just sits there until we sell it to these restaurants. They're pretty good volume. For residential, you gotta split it small. Well, my thought is I have a 6-way perfect split knife for the Japa. I've never run it. I think I might have run it, but not on video, but I never run it. And my thought is I will run residential oak through the perfect split 6-way, and I'll just stack it. I got the room. I'll just find an area where I'll just stack residential oak, just small split oak. And you know, it's not helping me right now, but next winter it will probably be okay. It just helps me with my anxiety that I have in running this firewood business. It is supply, 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 you know? When I thought I had it figured out this year, I don't know, it just crept up on me. The next thing I know, I look and I don't have any more logs. And then I call around to my contacts and they're like, you know, it's just the downtime of the year. There's just not a lot of wood getting moved. So I start getting a little panicky. I then go to my guys that make wood for me that live up north. Okay, I got to pay a premium, so I'm buying firewood already made. In fact, that stuff there and that stuff there I bought off of them, so I'm paying a lot more than this, but you know, I also don't have to make it. But that's where all the fun that's where all the fun is in firewood, is making it. I like selling it too, but here we go. I just got to do what I got to do. So I'm cutting into my profit margin, but I'm still staying in the game. The way I see it, my business is still growing, and it's just like buying market share. You know, I don't like telling customers no, especially customers that appreciate my brand of firewood, my style of service. I'm their guy. And you know, one of the first things you learn in business is that you can't sell what you don't have. So I'll take the oak. And we are wrapping this job up. The final ones are the oaks. Look at that. This driver, let's give him a thumbs up, guys. He's showing exceptional care. And you know, that looked like just like a little simple maneuver, but that's a huge help, I'm here to tell you, when you are working these piles and getting this, getting that live deck hooked up. Very nice job. So here you see the telescoping boom. He can shorten his and put it down into here. If you recall, Log Hauler Jesse had to build that cradle over top of his cab to lay his claw on top of that. All right. So there you go. A day in the life of a firewood delivery service. Oh, and I'm paying a premium for these logs too. Prices are still up. I asked my YouTube accountant. My prices are up for these logs, up 33% from when I first started getting into this. So just got to do what you got to do, huh? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope everyone has a great day.